Hi, I'm Tami Utley. Today we're going to be doing a sandcastle cake with a message in a bottle. So I'm going to be using some Isomalt today to make a bottle, just a clear bottle. I'm actually going to use colored Isomalt so you can see it a little bit better, but I'm going to be making a bottle with a mold. So we have some Isomalt. I use Simi Isomalt. It's really good Isomalt. However, you can get it from Dominique at Make Your Own Molds. He sells it and you have to temper it, or you can buy, I think Cake Play also has Isomalt. This just happens to be my favorite brand and their shipping's really good. So there you have ways to get your Isomalt. This is ready made. You don't have to temper it. You just throw it in the microwave and use it. We're also going to have a Silpat here. This is so I can protect my counter, and a pair of gloves so I can protect my hands. I also have, since we're doing a sandcastle, I have sand. Well, it's not real sand. It's vanilla wafers. So it's just vanilla wafer cookies, and so a few graham cracker cookies, and a little bit of light brown sugar. So I just mixed it all together, and it makes this wonderful sand-like texture. I'm going to be using a little bit of dusting colors. So I've got some of the Sugar Art. This is a kosher dark chocolate. We're just going to be using a tiny bit for our message in a bottle. I want to make the message in the bottle using wafer paper. So I've got a little scrap of wafer paper here. And I'm going to want to make it look kind of aged, like it's been in the bottle for a while and it was a scrap paper somebody had. So I've got this, and then I also will have a food color marker to write on this. I also, since it's a sandcastle, have a couple seashells here. So I have a couple chocolate molds here. I have one that's it's a Country Kitchen chocolate mold. That's starfish. And then I have another one that's just shells. This is, gosh, I don't know who this is. This is Apollo. They don't make Apollo molds anymore. But you can find shells. Country Kitchen has all sorts of shells. Any kind of shells will work. There's also Life of the Party. It sells molds. And I don't know what this is, ILA, and I can't remember who they are. But there's some molds here. You can see I use this one quite a bit. Just any shells will do. This just happens to be one of my favorite, the starfish. So that's a Country Kitchen one for sure. I also have some little mini ice cream cones. Aren't they cute? But you can use regular cones and cut them down. If you have sugar cones, for instance, which work really well, if you nuke them just for a few minutes in the microwave, they soften up and then you can cut them really easily. So if you can't find mini ones, just use sugar cones, microwave them, and then cut them, and then let them harden up again. We have a couple, we're going to use just a tiny bit of fondant today to make the cork, and a little bit of buttercream, and then of course a couple cakes. I have a 8-inch square cake, a 6-inch round, and then a little 3-inch round that we're going to be using to help to make our sandcastle for our message in a bottle. I also have a bottle mold. This is a beer bottle mold, and I made it myself. However, I do not suggest you make your own molds. It took me a couple tries to do it, and it's very expensive to do. And each try, of course, you know, if you didn't get it right the first time, it's going to be very expensive to try again. So I would suggest you buy a mold. They have several different kinds. This kind that I made is the type that you slit and it opens up, and I'll be showing you that. However, there are easier ones to use where they're actually two halves, and you just hold the two halves together like a candy mold, and you pour it in, and then when it's dry, you just unpeel both halves. You know, beer bottles and soda bottles have two seams down the sides, so where that mold sticks together, you're going to have the seam automatically. So, you know, there's no reason not to use two-sided mold. Again, Simi Cakes carries them, a really good one. They make excellent molds, and it's actually a better size. It's a 7.5. It's a little bit smaller, and it would work better with this cake. I just didn't happen to have it with me, so I ended up with my own. But you can get it there on their website. So, and then there's a couple other places. Just Google silicone beer bottle molds, 3D beer bottle molds. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started.